The castle is under siege, against an army of 15,000 strong, all trained footmen ready for war, supported by 750 cavalry, ready to charge. However, the castle won't go down without a fight. Lining up down here, there's a few hundred footmen, as well as the rest of the army up on the hill, ready to charge, and face the enemy head on. Within the first defense of the castle, we got the heavy knights. The enemy will have to push through and defeat the spearmen defending the main gate, with archers on both sides defending the hilltops, row by row of them. And once they make it to the gate, there's a whole bunch of citizens that have just been thrown a shield and a sword, ready to be the last line of defense for their home. And below the archers, 1,000 cavalry waits for the order to charge, hoping to decimate the enemy before they even reach the castle. And then it begins. The cavalry starts to charge, as all of the footmen follow. Both armies race to meet as they collide on the battlefront. Cavalry and footmen all morphing together. The bloodbath has began. Some cavalry pushing up the ramp towards the castle as arrows start to fly down from the hill. However, these cavalry will face a lot of resistance as there's cavalry pushing through the crowd of footmen. The front lines are turning into a bloodbath. With the amount of dead men and horses, it's hard to even see the water below. As more and more men of the enemy army push up the hill, the front becomes wider and wider. Some men are so eager to battle, they're jumping off of the cliff. There they go. They're all taking damage, stupids. Arrows are starting to rain down on the enemy army before they even get a chance to see an enemy. The castle's defensive cavalry is starting to cave in on itself. The enemy is gaining a flank. They're going to start closing in on the backside. As some rush over trying to stop it, their numbers are starting to dwindle. So many have died here, they've literally just formed a landmass. A landmass of bodies to stand on. The cavalry facing its last men. The enemy can now focus all of their men to getting up this hill, as some men break off from the main front line and are planning to go flank them from the other side. But it seems the castle has predicted this, as they're sending down some troops to handle it. The front line has expanded all the way across the river to the hill, where the castle seems to try and hold their defenses strong. They do have the high ground, however it's only a matter of time. Their numbers are dwindling, however still strong, but the enemy outnumbers them drastically. Could you imagine being like one of these guys? They're like just way back here. Just waiting. Like, it would be so awkward to have like nobody behind you. You're just looking over the massive heads and you're like, oh frick, that's gonna be me soon. Or hopefully it isn't, right? You probably have the best chance of surviving all this if you're on the way back. It would suck though if you're like way up here and you're like, oh, it's almost my turn. These guys are all just sitting here getting pelted with arrows. Look at them all flying down. Jeez. The army is pushing through, revealing the mass carnage of the cavalry left behind. Interesting to see though. So there's the huge pileup of dead bodies, right? Creating just a staircase of meat for them to run on. But as you can see, the bodies seem to go up. So they are gaining ground. They are slowly moving forward. And with the bodies kind of gaining an artificial high ground. Could you imagine being one of these guys falling in? Oh my glove, he gets destroyed. Imagine being one of these guys. So you're moving down, it's your turn for the front line. And then you get pushed off into the wolves. Look at that, he's gone. He just gets eaten, bro. He gone. Come on, somebody else fall. Somebody else waste your life. That would be sketch though, being one of these guys. You're like, oh no, oh there he goes, dead. Castle is holding the flank strong though. In fact, they're kind of pushing back, revealing the dead bodies left behind. Castle's defenses of footmen are dwindling. They have no more men backing them up after the ramp. Looking back at the castle, the archers on the left flank are just pelting them with arrows, shooting them out towards the enemy. Doing a great work too. There's a pileup of people. That's all from just archers dying. You can't even see the ground. It's all just dead guys. The castle's losing men fast. They can't hold the flank any longer. They're losing their foothold. The enemy are looping around, pushing the front back up the river. The loss of men revealing more and more of the dead cavalry. The castle's first line of defense is almost extinguished. The last of their footmen struggle to even survive. The pile of bodies only grows bigger. They are being greatly overwhelmed. And there we go, the last of them. The last of them are falling. The first line of defense is fallen. The enemy army of footmen storm the castle as they start moving up fast. The heavy knights immediately spring to action. The army tries to get as many men up there as quickly as possible, flooding both sides of the gate as the archers continue to pelt the enemy with arrows. Footmen start to build up at the gates as numbers are their advantage. More and more men are just flooding up the hill. The footmen slowly gaining advantage after an entire hill of them have been formed. The spearmen and archers are exposed and starting to engage in combat. as constant reinforcements fill the back lines. All of the heavy knights that are looking the wrong direction don't know what's about to happen. More and more heavy knights drop quickly as they find themselves surrounded. The heavy knights truly defending the staircase are fallen, or at least will be really soon. The rest of the heavy knights are being pinned against a wall as they fight their way through their final moments. The footmen start trying to push up the staircase, slowly gaining ground. The heavy footmen still doing their job, they are distracting the majority of the troops. However, there are still so many men that they're still backed up down at the lake and river, slowly revealing just pile-ups upon pile-ups of bodies. Former soldiers just like them. The last of the heavy knights fight for survival. As the footmen gain more and more up the staircase, there goes the last heavy knight. And now the footmen, they can all focus on going up the staircase, all pushing their mass through, as arrows continue to fly into them. The footmen push up the staircase more and more. The men up the stairs are dying so fast that it leaves so much room for the back guys to start sprinting up. With how quickly these men file up the staircase and then reach their ultimate demise, the army is slowly dwindling from its reserves. But it still has plenty. The men have a pileup of bodies so tall that they can almost just step up the hill and start attacking the archers. The first of the footmen are able to get up on the hill and start attacking the archers, as some of the first archers start to fall. If the footmen can gain a foothold and start attacking the archers in mass numbers, that'll be an insane advantage for them, as more and more archers start to fall, including the left flank. They don't have long before they'll be able to walk up on the hill. In fact, they probably can right now, they're just more focused on the spearmen. The more archers that are dead, the more and more men can get up here and focus on slashing up the spearmen. Again, men die so quickly that they just need to be immediately replaced by men sprinting up the hill. The funnel moves fast. Again though, the enemy's numbers are dwindling. The reserves are emptying out. They can only handle so much more death. If they have any hope of winning, they need to clear out the archers immediately. The footmen are clearing out the spearmen fast, leaving the way for the rest of the footmen to come over and attack the archers. The last spearman has fallen. The footmen have claimed the staircase, however it is not quite secure. More and more men flood in to attack the archers, as they also start to engage the last line of defense. Archers are being slaughtered. The last of the reserves are depleted. The rest of them lay at the first wall, waiting to enter the gate. Still losing so many men. The footmen struggle to gain a foothold on the archers. As footmen slowly dwindle over here, the archers are able to clear them out before they even get to them. However, the other side of archers have suffered many more casualties, leaving the right flank of all the enemy soldiers almost clear of any enemy fire. As they continue to push into the castle, the archers, losing numbers slowly, have lost the advantage. The footmen are able to reach the archers and start to slay. The archers on the right enemy flank have completely died, leaving more focus on the left flank as the last archers shoot their last arrows. The footmen have cleared out both sides of archers, and now leading their focus all the way into the castle as they push and push deeper in. More and more footmen are just running up the staircase, trying to back them up. The enemy reserves are still dwindling, as now even their backup forces are split into two groups. Then they reconvene as they sprint up the stairs. As the men fight furiously, the gap of the enemy reserves is only growing, as they form a front spanning from wall to wall and lay out a carpet of dead bodies. There are so many men trying to get into the castle, they struggle to siphon through the hole, as many of them try and push their way in. The enemy footmen have secured both sides of the wall. As they push so deep into the castle, they are starting to form two fronts, as they split the castle's defenses into two groups. However, the enemy reserves, they can't even see each other anymore. The castle defenses now see that there's just too many of them, as both groups slowly just deplete in numbers, as both left and right swiftly lose men. There are just too many enemy attackers. However, the enemy reserves have completely depleted on one side. There just aren't enough men left to support the castle's defenses. The castle's flanks are now being pinned against the back wall. The castle's right flank defenses split into two groups. Both sides of the castle's defenses now being pinned inside the corner. Only a few defenders left. The right flank of the castle has fallen, as the left flank follows suit. Team 2 is victorious. The enemy footmen have won. They've taken the castle, but with no men to spare. All of their reserves of men have been depleted. Thousands of men and horses lie dead on the battlefront. Just bodies upon bodies layered up, even damming the river. Whoa, this is cool. What? Men who never even got to fight for themselves, but instead fell to falling off the cliff. Other men who were brave enough to fight the enemy from the other side lay dead. All the men who were just waiting their turn, being pelted by arrows, lay dead before even entering the gate. Inside the gate, the heavy knights defended greatly, taking so many men with them, as the push up the stairs costed heavy casualties, being under heavy fire from the archers and fighting spearmen the whole way up. More men carpet the field as they tried to maneuver onto the archers on both sides. More and more spearmen lay dead as the footmen raced into the castle and sieged it. So looking at the statistics, Team 1 is at 0, there's 0 people left. Team 1 killed 14,075 of Team 2. Team 2 only has 1,671 of their initial population of 15,750. Team 2 ended up killing 8,490. So there we go, there was the siege.